Is there anything you guys don't know?
How are you doing?
Or want to know? How am I doing? I'm doing good.
What have you been up to lately? I haven't really asked that yet.
Okay, well, after the show ended, I did a pilot for a game show called To Tell the Truth. It was, you remember the old To Tell the Truth?
I've seen the new one with Anthony Anderson.
But John O'Hurley was the host, and the panelists. To tell the truth, you have to lie in front of 4 celebrity panelists, and then they have to decide whether you're telling the truth or not. And I was sitting next to Paula Poundstone, and the guy that's on Designing Women, and I can't even remember.
Meshach,
yeah.
Taylor?
But we did that, and then the show got picked up. And they called me and asked if I wanted to do a game show, and I went, no. I really had fun doing the pilot, but I don't think I want to do a game show. So like a year later, the producer of that show calls me up and goes, well, would you like to host a game show? We're looking for a new host for Family Feud. And I went, I don't think so.
I don't think so, Tim.
But my agents, and manager, they kind of convinced me that it was just like doing a family movie or a family show. It's just another family venue. And then I ended up doing Family Feud for 4 years. So I did that, and
I'm not sure what you're doing, but can you run the
and then there's all these like little movies that I was able to do. Air Buds. I don't know if you saw the Air Bud movies. With the dog.
Yeah.
And then I did one with a monkey. That was hysterical. Oh my God. We had a chimpanzee and that skateboards.
Wow.
Right? And this chimpanzee skateboarded. And it was called MVP, Most Valuable Primate.
Can you guys hear us okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
I
right.
don't think we need those.
No.
I don't think we need those.
I told him he could.
You guys
but he
are
didn't
okay?
want
Yeah, I don't really think we're gonna need them.
Okay, now can you hear me better? I can hear you better.
I'm gonna set it over there.
What's that?
I think it's a little overkill.
I know. Is this better?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is better. Here you go.
And it's more personable, and I love it.
Here, I'll take it. I'll take it.
But anyway, the monkey, the whole setup is that this little boy and the monkey are skateboarding, and they're trying to get away from some bad guys or whatever. And I played ollie, which is a skateboarding term. If you do an ollie, I don't know. But we had a scene where the monkey was with us, and it was late at night. We were having hot chocolate. And during our scene, the monkey was supposed to put all the marshmallows in his mouth, right? And then, cut back to the monkey, and he smiles with all these marshmallows in his mouth. Well, the monkey wasn't eating the marshmallows. We go take 2, take 3, take 4. It's like 6 takes. And finally, I looked at the monkey, and I reached for a marshmallow. And I just went, and the monkey went. And I kept eye contact with that monkey, and I just went. The monkey was like, and he took a marshmallow, and then he fed me. And the trainer, out of the corner of my eye, was like tense. I mean, he was like, he didn't look happy about this. And afterwards, he says, that monkey could have attacked you, could have really hurt you because you were taking his food. But I guess he felt like I was the alpha monkey in the room. So it was okay that I took his food and then he fed me. And they used that take, actually. So if you ever see MVP, that's what happened. But after the show, what were the kind of things you were doing?
What was I doing for work?
Yeah.
I did a movie for Fox called Spiral Staircase. Can you guys hear me? Because I know I have a little bit of a lower voice right now. But recently, I've just been producing my Dude Ranch show, and I did a few things here and there, little bits. But
have you seen the Dude Ranch show? It's on the Outside channel.
It's on
Outdoor channel?
the Cowboy channel and RFD TV. So it's all over YouTube. But it's called Debbie Dunning's Dude Ranch Roundup for some of you who haven't heard of it, and it's a travel show, and I showcase one ranch to another. And when I get there, I basically get there in the evening, and we talk about, it's almost like a table run, what we're going to be doing the next day. And then first thing in the morning, I go into makeup, and then boom, I'm on a horse, I'm shooting guns, whitewater rafting. I mean, just what you would do in a week, I do in 2 days.
You're basically
just for
getting
filming.
paid to play.
Yep. I created a really good job for myself, and
That's pretty cool.
I brought some of my friends on, and people who have no idea, have never been on a horse before, and taken them through this adventure. And every single person said it was like the best job they'd ever had. They can't even consider it a job, but because it's so much fun. We really are just changing our clothes and playing. It's been
Yeah.
it's been good. We're trying to get him on as soon as his schedule breaks up a little bit. Fly fishing, anything you guys like to do, like outdoorsy. It's a great place to take your kids and especially your friends. I like that.
That's cool. How many episodes have you done?
I've shot 49 ranches.
Wow.
Across the U.S.
Wow.
I've been
Who
busy.
knew there were 49
Thank you,
ranches?
sweetie. Thank you.
It's kind of like the
John
Billy Crystal
Dutton?
movie. What was the Billy Crystal movie?
City
I
City
Slickers.
Slickers. It's kind of like that, right?
Thank you very much. I won't make you run anymore.
Well, Tim and I are actually doing a new show called Assembly Required last year. It was called Assembly Required, and we changed the title now. This year it's going to be called More Power. And basically it's dual time in reality.
I assume he's going to do.
He doesn't do that as often as you would think. He's being the new Ted Baxter Tim. The Last Man Standing Tim. He doesn't want to.
And I did see your cameo in that too.
I did. I did a cameo there, and I wasn't really supposed to. Apparently my agents just submitted me for this role of an architect, and then when I said, okay, yeah, I'd like to do that, then they went, oh wait, whoa, you're going to do it? You're doing it? Well, we have to rewrite it. Because we didn't, now it's like, it's a whole nother, it's a different thing. So they added these things like, I see Tim and I go, hey, say hi to the wife and the 3 boys. And she goes, I got 3 girls.
Yeah.
So cute.
Really? God, I remember 3 boys.
I remember that. I totally remember that. Yeah.
And then they called me back like a year later. In that show, I lose out the job to a woman architect because his wife is like, well, why not a woman architect? And they looked at our designs and stuff, and she was better. But consequently, I lose my wife. I lose my job. I have gone downhill. So you see me at a baseball game, I'm drunk. I'm like picking a fight on his show, yeah. And when they called me, I was doing a play up in Calgary. I was doing, oh my God, I was doing a play called Game Show. Which that's another story. But they called me up and they go, we'd like to have you back. And I go, okay. I'm in Calgary. They go, well, can you come down? I go, on Monday, my day off, I can come down. Can you shoot it on Monday? They go, yeah. All right. So come on down. I go, well, are you going to fly me down? They go, oh no, we don't do that. I go, oh, all right, never mind. Like 2 hours later, okay, we'll fly you down. And so I went down there, and Pasqual was directing.
Oh, really?
John
That's
Pasqual
great.
was the original director of Home Improvement. He's
For
married
the first
to.
few years, he was amazing.
Yeah, he's a good director. But so here's this scene at a baseball game. So there's 70 extras, in the stadium, and we only have 1 day to shoot all this. So, and I'm drunk, and every time we do a scene, Tim is like laughing because I'm drunk, and I'm like picking fights, and and after like the 4th take, I went, Tim, I only have a couple more of these. This takes a lot of energy, and you're come on, just do what you do, because he really laughs. When we're together.
Yeah, when we're all together, he laughs because it's like your family. You've got your inside jokes that you've had for so many years, and then you try to get on stage with someone, and you like look at each other. You just gotta have that.
Giggles.
Yeah, you get the giggles.
So.
Like in church, you're not supposed to laugh.
But I think I get punched out by the son-in-law. But the game show was a play called Game Show, and within the play, we actually had audience come up and play a trivia game, kind of like Family Feud. So I was like a host, And then during the commercials, quote unquote, would be, who's wants whose job, who's sleeping with who. There was like a play going on, and then you'd come back and there would be this game show with the audience. And we had questions that we spent hours coming up with questions for the writer. Like he couldn't do the job, and just trivia stuff. And I played the game very kind of straightforward, like a game show host. I didn't think I didn't want to take liberties, but it's like, who cares? It's like the network is not going to sue you for stacking the deck or whatever. And so this one day, a question comes up, and it was like, on the Greek Isle of Lesbos, what are the people called? And the joke is that they're called lesbians. And I knew that, but while they're writing their answer down, I would go down to the audience like, oh yeah, how many Greek Isles are there? I don't know if I've counted yet. I just kind of make stuff up and I talk. Well, the next question comes up, and it's, you're running around hitting a shuttlecock. What game are you playing? And I go, okay, you're playing badminton, but there's a joke there. There's a joke. What is it? What is it? And this is all happening in like a nanosecond. I know there's a joke, but and you can't stop and write it, So I just went, okay, no, never mind. And I walked down. I go, God, you're running around the Isle of Lesbos. Not a shuttlecock to be found. I couldn't talk for like 30 seconds. I like cracked myself up. The audience is laughing, and I went, oh my God, I could do this. I can stack questions that would like make jokes like that. And I did that for a couple weeks, and it was fun. It was really funny. And then I got kind of bored in the sense that I wasn't finding it. It was already there, like shooting fish in a barrel.
This stuff always happens when you're driving home, when you can't come up with it.
Yeah.
You're lucky that it came up, but it's always like, I should have said that.
I should have said that. And that's what I went back to just, random questions, and if something funny, pieced together, that was good, but that's that story.
Speaking of questions, does anybody have any questions for us?
Well, Debbe, you talked about your new show. Did you grow up around horses?
I did. They weren't my horses. They were my next door neighbor's horses. They had
Were you in the
horses.
equestrian area of Burbank?
No, I wasn't. I was.
There's an equestrian area.
I was in Toluca Lake as I was a child, and the people next door to us had horses in a very small little stable that was built right off the alley. Our backyard butted up to the alley, and we had a huge yard. And so we brought the horses over every day, and I started, taking care of them and got very familiar and comfortable. And they said, anytime, Debbie, you want to, because, if you have a horse, it needs to be exercised, it needs to be let out. And so I fell in love with horses, and when I was actually on the show, I would come in to work at 10 o'clock, and we'd run through, and I wouldn't have to be back at work sometimes Monday at all. And then Tuesday and Wednesday, you'd shoot through tool times right away. We'd put them all together, and we wouldn't have to be back at work until like 3:34 sometimes. And so
then run the play so that they could see it all together.
So they could see all the other
thing.
things, all the other scenes. And so I'd go across. I bought a couple horses, and I kept them across the street, not as expensive as the equestrian center, but right next door, which was like a quarter of the cost.
Yeah, like buying a horse isn't expensive.
Well, and the maintaining of it and everything, but the equestrian was basically one of the nicest places in Burbank, and it was very close to the studio. But
that's where we had our Friday night parties.
Yeah,
they had
right
a
over
bar
there.
and a restaurant, and we went there because the general public couldn't get in as easily.
Yeah, it was really easy for us. And then we go to Timmy Nolan's
Well,
when we
remember
got
Timmy
really
Nolan's?
crazy, and that was public.
Yeah,
Like, let's go have some people.
Lots of people just hanging out. We said, "Oh, we knew you were coming."
No, yeah, people started, because Burbank's a very small
There
town.
wouldn't be room for the cast.
But there was a time where Alan Jackson came on our set, and he was like a fish out of water, because he's not an actor, he's a musician.
He's a performer, though.
Yes, but he was not used to this, waiting around in a place, like he's from Nashville. And so I said to him, I go, what are you doing? And he's like, I have no idea. I go, well, I'm going to go let my horses out if you want to come. And he's like, please. So we ended up spending every single day when we were done, because we just shot Tool Time together, and we'd go over there and we'd let the horses out and we became friends. And it was that Friday was the craziest thing. That Friday, he'd asked me, do you want to come see my show? I'm going to do Tool Time, and then I'm taking a helicopter over to the Hollywood Bowl, and I'm going to put on a show. I was like, oh, they're not going to let me get out of, curtain call. But I asked, and they said yes, and all of a sudden me and, who was our phone page at the time? Little Cutie Pie.
Yes.
Well, it doesn't matter, you don't know her anyway. She and I were able to leave. So we did Tool Time. I didn't have to do, I was not going to do, curtain call. And we got on this helicopter right on NBC, and it was like, vroom, vroom. We landed, he goes, I have an idea. Why don't you introduce me? Why don't you bring me on out? I'm like, oh my gosh. So I've said, does everybody know what time it is, many times in my life, but this time, I was like, so what do I do? What should I say? He goes, just do whatever you want to do. So they introduced me. So they knew who I was coming out. And then I said, we'd been working on the show, and he's been great, but I just have a question for you because I just need to hear it. Does everybody know what time it is? And it was the biggest Tool Time. And I said, at Tool Time, I go, nope, it's time to put your hands together for Mr. Alan Jackson. And so it was great. And I clapped my hands, and I was like this, and then he came out, and I wrapped my arms around him. I gave him a quick kiss on the cheek, and he was like this. He was already singing it, right? I didn't know they were doing a video. So he has these lips on his cheek.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So after that song, that was the only song they were doing the video for. So he did a couple songs and what have you. And somebody had come out and said something to him, and he was like, oh, and he wiped it off very gently. And then at the end of the concert, they said, okay, we're going to do this one more time. And the guy said, without the kiss on his cheek. So he did it one more time. But that was exciting, to have this part where you have this small audience, and all of a sudden it's like,
Yeah, big.
how big that was. It was powerful. It was fun.
She took a helicopter for basically a 3-mile ride.
Nothing. It was like this: pop over, pop over.
Because here's Disney where we're doing, and here's the Hollywood Bowl. It's just like boom, boom.
Because we were filming, and they needed him here as soon as possible, but then we brought the bus, and he dropped us back off. Chrissy and I dropped back off, and she was like, that was the best night of my life. Oh my God. Chrissy, our little.
What kind of horses you have?
I had a thoroughbred and quarter horse, and I had a Tennessee Walker.
Did you show or
No, I just rode Western.
just played?
Yeah, my mom and I had horses together, and then I just.
We had a pet store growing up.
Yeah, well, in my 20s, before, it was during Home Improvement. Maybe it was during Home, I can't remember. But it was in my 20s. We were up on Glen Oaks. It was called Dunning's Pets and Supplies. My mom and I ran that for about 9 years. We know a lot about animals, There's nothing I won't touch or, I shouldn't say play with.
Well, you got it on tape.
Okay. That's gonna be the new GIF.
I guess you got it on digital. Showing my age.
They might not be able to even tell who you are because it's so dark on here. So
We guys could go sit up there.
We need our lighting.
That's our best lighting. Any other questions for us? You just guys came to just look at us?
I came to just smile at Richard because he likes my smile.
Oh, we do. As soon as you took that thing off, we're like, oh, God, you have a beautiful smile.
Well, I appreciate that.
You've probably been told by an awful lot of people how influential that show was. How each one of the three of you and the characters were, beloved in the families.
Well, we were one of the last shows that you kind of had to watch. There were VHSs out there, and you could tape them, but a lot of people didn't have those, and so you had to watch it in real time with commercials.
We were really lucky.
And that was a time when families got together, and so people would come up and say that this was our family time. This is a big memory for us.
It was for me.
Yeah.
They
My
didn't
family.
have phones in their hands. The kids ate dinner and sat there and watched the show. The
Yeah.
parents knew that the writers put things in there that they wouldn't have to protect their children from. Now we can't protect our children from any of it. It's everywhere. It's on the internet. It blasted. We used to protect ourselves and not let anybody follow us on Facebook, and now we're putting ourselves in every type of social media there is to be seen. It's just completely turned around.
Well, not all of us.
I'm not very good at it. Like I realized that I need to get better at it because I've been told.
Well, we're that age, you know, right in between.
Yeah, I
I'm
realized
still learning myself,
Yeah.
so.
I thought I was cool just to start doing Instagram, and everybody's like, well, everybody's still on Facebook. Like everybody's still on Facebook.
Well, everybody's on TikTok too, and I don't even have a TikTok.
Yeah.
Well, our parents are on Facebook. Our kids are on
TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah.
And who knew that you could just
And
be,
Snapchat.
be who you wanted to be?
What are you on?
I don't have a phone.
You don't have a phone?
He won't let me get one until we are protecting her.
How old are you?
I'm 19.
You're 19? Guess what?
Yep.
You know, a year ago you could have said something.
She watches Tool Time at dinner.
Maybe you're better off.
They
you know?
only had you to watch the rest of the
I
kids.
think there's been a lot more, you know, communal depression because of social media. Because we only want to put our best side out there, and everybody's seeing everybody's best side. And is, well, my life doesn't sound like that, or you know, you do one fun thing on a beach, and then for the whole year, that's where they think you are, is on the beach.
Yeah. A lot of people, like, I love seeing the real in some of these people who post on Instagram and TikTok, because they're like, who's that funny comedian, that redhead girl? She married the autistic guy. They have a baby.
Kathy,
No, she's not that redhead.
the other redhead.
Anyway, I'll come up with it, but she is as real as she gets, and she's like, this is me, and she looks beautiful when she's a comedian up on stage, but she's like she goes, so I went out and I was at this big Hollywood thing, and I'm married to a very autistic guy, and you know, they don't lie, and this gal comes up, she goes, oh, you haven't returned my calls. She's like, oh, I don't think I got him. He goes, yes, you did. Remember when you got the call and you said you weren't going to call her back? And she goes, no. Yes, you did.
Yes, you did.
Yes, you did. But yeah, like, I don't know. Social media is such a different platform for us now. Anybody can be famous. You can be famous by being a TikToker. Make millions of dollars doing this. And here we are, trained in our field, going, how are we supposed to go to that now? Because this is what we learned the whole time. Auditions are different. Auditions can be the best one you want, and then you submit
Well,
that from
auditions
home.
aren't in the room with the casting people or the director anymore.
Not anymore.
They're
One
in your
shot.
kitchen, you know, doing an audition to your phone.
And you
if
can
you
do the
had
best
one.
one you want and then send it, which is good. It's actually a little bit of an advantage for us.
Not me.
Well,
Unless they do it on Zoom or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's so different because there's something to be said about going in there, getting nervous, and actually feeling that feeling when you're reading with someone and getting to those emotions. It's hard to do it just to a screen. I mean, we can do it, but how do they see? How do they feel it? You know?
Well, that's how they kind of pare it down. So the 3 or 4 people that they think they're going to like, then they put them together in a room and they can see the chemistry. So it is that.
Yes, it happens later, but
Yeah.
it's an advantage to some and it's a disadvantage to others, I think.
Kind
But-
of a funny home improvement story. We're from Colorado, and when we first got married, my friend said you should take Christian marriage counseling for at least 2 years. And so we did 6 years with a gentleman named John Dangler. And after 6 years of counseling, maybe we ran out of some stuff to say, I suppose, but we just really loved interacting with him. And he was related to the oldest boy in the show.
Jonathan?
No,
Yeah.
Zach.
Zach. Yes, they
He was
were
actually
related.
not the oldest, but
So
he was on the show.
Yeah, the oldest one on the show. So I guess Zach did some soccer stuff or something.
Uh-huh.
And so it was a fan of that. So he would tell us soccer stories and home improvement stories and just kind of a small world.
So let me get this straight. You got married, and then someone said you need counseling.
Well, right away they said if you're newlyweds, automatically do it before you have any problems. So we went ahead and
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a part of our counseling session was
interesting.
home improvement based. So that's kind of interesting.
All right, all right. We helped.
And it did help because now we have 9 kids, as you know, and we're together.
They've got 8 and they've got 1 more on the way.
On the way, yeah.
Wow.
Because they have a
Congratulations.
12-seater, you said? They don't want to get the 15-seater.
When we traveled, we have to run a 15-seater.
Yeah.
Well, you need
Crazy.
you need the baseball team.
You have a beautiful family, and thanks for sharing that with us. All right, you guys. Well, it's nice talking to you. We're going to head back to our
Any other questions?
room.
What's your favorite shows that are like on currently?
Favorite shows currently?
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Or
Oddly
do you
enough,
watch anything?
I do have some, but we went back and watched shows from like the early 2000s, like Alias and Chuck and Psych. Remember those shows?
I have Alias all the seasons on
I
DVD,
rewatched them
so yeah.
like they were brand new. I remember, I know that I've seen it, but I couldn't remember a thing. So I just got to enjoy watching the show again, knowing that I liked it the first time, and this is fun the second time. But right now, there's so many cool things out there.
So much on Netflix.
I really loved Queen's Gambit last year, and I think that is the perfect way to do, instead of a movie, of a book, 10-part series, because you really get everything that book.
Chess movie. Yeah, I loved that series.
And that was out on the. I had a friend 30 years ago that script came by, and I think Molly Ringwald was going to play it.
Oh, really?
But it never got past anything because they weren't sure anybody would like chess.
Mm-hmm.
And then 30 years later, it became a huge hit. But
That's fantastic.
Condor's kind of a cool show, which was based on the book 6 Days of the Condor, which was made into a movie called 3 Days of the Condor with Robert Redford and Faye Dunaway. But that's a kind of a cool show, and God,
I like Sex Life. I'm single, and I like that show, Sex Life. And I really, honestly didn't want to like it. I was like, how does this girl come to work? Have you seen it?
Nope.
Maybe not. Not you guys either until you your kids put to bed. But this girl comes to work.
well, they already know all about that.
Yeah. This girl, if you've not seen it, this girl comes to work every single day and has to completely strip to nude. And most of the people in the show do. And I'm like, okay, this girl is so confident. She's remembering
Wait,
her
how come I'm not
lines.
watching this show?
Remembering her lines, and she's acting out, and she's so free with like all of you are working on the show, and all of a sudden I started when I get naked, I'm like, okay, getting directions from the director, start naked, going, okay, I got that. Okay, well let me one more question.
Well,
just
let's
start
try it out.
naked.
Okay.
All right. It's one of those crazy things. Oh.
Okay.
Anyway, it was nice talking to you guys.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for
You guys
coming
are
to our
amazing.
panel.
All right.
We're gonna try to get back